Yo internet, what is happening? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're not talking about the Fox. That thing had a leaky fuel line, it's been neglected. I went to move it, and it turns out to be the one that goes all the way from the front to the back. That's not what we're talking about today. Today I want to talk about one of two products that Make It Modular is released, and we'll get into that. The first one on this video is the Coyote Swap plug-and-play harness for your early S197. Now, I touched on this a little bit in our last video when I did a deep dive into converting a complete body harness from an early S197, but today I'm going to show you what I've been working on for the past several months to make it people that want to do this swap in their 05 to 09 Mustang basically 100% plug and play. So let's get into it. So here you have it. This is the meat and potatoes of the plug and play swap harness for the early S197 to put a Gen 1 Coyote management in there. So that means you can run a Gen 3 short block, Gen 2 heads, but as long as you run Gen 1 timing components and ECU, you can use this harness and not use a control pack. And it should be a little cheaper than using a control pack. So what you'll notice here is a very basic harness. This is just what goes from the body connector of the 4.6. This is the male side that I've developed, and the female side of the Coyote, so that'll plug into the Coyote ECU. This little guy here is basically what's on the side of the car. This is actually the plug that when I swapped my car before I got more familiar with repinning it, which I wish I would have done. But now it's a good test piece. So this isn't the complete harness. This is just what's gonna make everything 100% plug and play, along with other things that I haven't noticed here or haven't completed yet, is the MAF, the inline for the engine, inline for the trans harness, the AC, and the pedal. There's gonna be a lot more harness going on here. Just the one from the pedal to this connector is like 165 inches. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on this little guy. So like I said, this is our proprietary male harness. So this is usually like what's on the computer, and they don't make this connector for like the male side of your Connect. So what it does, you take your body harness from your car and plug it in like usual. Boom. Obviously there's gonna be a lot more harness in here, but this is how it's gonna work. And unless you have a 2005 car, your 06 to 09 cars are going to be 100% plug and play. Now granted, this is about 30% of the harness. I don't want to give all my secrets away because, you know, reasons, but I wanted to give you guys a little heads up on what I've been working on. I do have it on the website to purchase this swap harness. So like I said, the harness is currently available on the website. Currently built to order. I am building an 07 one right now, so if any of you guys got an 07 to 09 one, let's get after it, because the price is going to go up after we get a few of these out there. And there's also some things I want to cover for the earlier cars and the 07 to 9. So a lot of people ask me, well, I have a control pack, can I use this? What else do I need? So this is just wiring harness. There's no actually components that you have. You're still gonna need the following: an ECU, a pedal, trans harness, an engine harness. And that is about it. If you want AC, all you gotta do is get the high pressure AC sending unit from the Coyote and take it out and put it in your high speed port, high pressure port of your 4.6. Now if you have a V6 car, the 4 liters actually use the same high pressure AC sensor as the Coyote, so you don't even have to do that. But since you have a V6, you got a lot more other work, so you got a little break there. So getting back to what else you need, we got the computer, engine harness, trans harness, pedal, high pressure AC sensor, and of course, you're going to need a MAF, mass airflow, along with the ECU. It needs to be PATS deleted, so that's your passive anti-theft system. That needs to be deleted by people that do that. I don't do that, but Power by the Hour does. That's where I send all my stuff. They got a quick turnaround. They get you taken care of, get your own part number and all that good stuff so that your tuner can tune it just like a regular car. So if this is the route you want to take, which I highly recommend because it's going to look very factory. If you see my videos of my 07 that's swapped, it's basically you're gonna have the same results. It's gonna look very factory under the hood. So the only thing you got to tell your tuner is, you get the strategy out of the computer just like you would any other car. Even if it was a control pack, they still need the strategy out of there. And whether you're running a returnless system or not, they need to know that. A couple of other fun facts when you're doing this swap. So I talked about the trans harness. Now you need the correct trans harness for your swap. Let's say you're putting an MT82, perfect. You get an 11 to 14 GT transmission harness and everything will bolt up and line up perfectly. So if you're using a TR3650 or the TR6060 and using the GT500 trans harness, you need it from a 2013 to 14 GT500. They're still available from Ford. For whatever reason, the 11 to 14 regular GT for the MT82 transmission harnesses aren't available new from Ford. But the good thing is the GT500 transmission harness is it's under $300, I think, from the dealer in the US. If you're using the TR6060 as your transmission, perfect. You won't have to modify it at all, I think. Yes. But if you're using the TR3650, the 5-speed that came in the 4.6 cars, you need to extend your speedometer harness. That stuff I've covered in the past, I believe. I'll put a link right there in the video to see, so you can go back and look. It was about a year ago we made that video to show you how the speedometer worked and all that good stuff. And the pins to repin the GT500 harness, because they use a different pin for the vehicle speed sensor than the regular Coyote transmission harness. You just got to move one pin, and that's going to be, so that makes this plug and play harness not fully 100% if you're using certain things. So to recap, if we're using an MT82 transmission, you just get the 11 to 14 GT trans harness and you won't have to mess around with anything. But if you're using the TR3650 or the TR6060, you need a GT500 trans harness and a little bit of mods. I'll put the link in the video. So if all my videos of me doing my swap the way I did it and this harness hasn't convinced you to swap your Coyote easily, and in the past it's been a big hassle, let me lay down a few things for you. How much are control packs? They're over $2,000 these days. When I did the Fox 2017, I was lucky enough back then, they were new $1,500, but I seem to find deals all the time. I found mine open box from somebody that didn't have O2 sensors in the control pack, but everything else for $1,000. When I did the Fusion, same story. Someone didn't have whatever the hell. Got it for like $1,000. Now prices are so bonkers, and these cars are so close in the architecture for the communications and the modules that it doesn't make sense to use a control pack in these cars, in my opinion. Now I know there's other solutions out there when you're using the control pack to make your gauges and all that stuff work. Granted, this also allows you to use the cruise, the AC, your gauges will work, and it's like factory. Literally, there's nothing under the dash you have to juicy fruit around with or anything. Now, when you use the control pack and let's say Lethal Nate's wiring, which I love what he's doing, we're buds, we chat, but there's no bad blood or anything, you have to have two ECUs in the car, and I'm not even sure where guys are putting them. I never see under hood pics of these cars that are swapped if they're putting the ECU under the dash. It seems like a lot of monkeying around when the Coyote computer, the Gen 1 computer, will bolt into place. It's the same outside dimensions and shape as the 3-valve computer, so you just stuff it in there, hook up your trans harness, you're good to go. So if I haven't swayed you enough, I just can't stress how easy these cars are to swap. And mechanically, they're a slam dunk. It's all the same motor mounts, headers, it's all 11 to 14 stuff. Use 11 to 14 heater hoses. And one other aftermarket thing you do need, depending on how you want your AC to work, is use the Power by Hour AC bracket. And that's a slam dunk too. I didn't even have to discharge my AC system when I did my swap. I just put the compressor along the side, put the bracket on the Coyote motor, put the engine back up in the bay and hooked it back up. we had AC right out of the bat. So if you're in the middle of this project and even have a Gen 2 or you got a control pack and it's not even done yet, please consider getting this harness, man. It's gonna be life-changing, I feel. And a lot of people are doing these swaps more and more often. The early 3-valve cars are getting more and more cheap, and not to spoil it, but I might be getting a cheap one next week, but we'll cover that in another video. And I just can't stress enough like how easy it is to either hardwire it, we have that guide on the website as well, or use this harness that we are currently releasing. So head on over to make-it-modular.com. We'll put a link in the description below and on the little ticker here. And that's super exciting stuff for all you Coyote swappers. And it sounds like someone's cutting their palm trees on top of my garage. So on that bombshell, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button. And if you really like it, please consider subscribing. And we'll see you next time very shortly for part 2 of what Make It Modular is releasing. See you later, guys.